Welcome to From Lab to Life, a podcast series where we dive into the real stories behind the science. In this series, you will hear from researchers involved in the EU-funded CONCERTO project as they share snapshots from their research journey, their experience within CONCERTO, and even some personal tips and reflections from life beyond the lab. Whether you are passionate about science, curious about innovation, or just love hearing the human side of research, you are in the right place. And to kick things off, we are thrilled to welcome our very first guest, Beatriz from AIRBUS. As a Certification, Research and Technology Innovation Coordinator and Clean Aviation CONCERTO Hydrogen 2 leader, she is bringing her unique perspective as a scientist and engineer, sharing what inspired her path, how she's contributed to CONCERTO project, and the lessons she carries from both her lab work and her life outside it. Let's jump in. Hey Beatriz, welcome. I'm really excited to have you here with us for the very first episode of the CONCERTO podcast series From Lab to Life.
Thank you, Nikki, for having me on the show today, the first podcast. I'm really excited to be here and I appreciate so much the opportunity to chat with you today. So if you're okay, let's go.
Absolutely. Let's start with something classic but always interesting. How did you first get into science? Was there a specific moment or maybe a person that sparked your interest early on?
To answer this question, I will have to take you back quite a bit in time. Well, I realized early on that physics and maths were the subject that I enjoyed the most at school and I was very good at them. Maybe a bit later at high school, I was lucky enough to have one of the most inspiring professors that I ever had, and he introduced me to the world of fluid mechanics. And honestly, the more I learned, the more I was curious and motivated about it. So at some point I said to myself, whatever I study, it needs to be related to fluid mechanics. That was clear. Another driver, I would say, is the attraction I always felt about big things, big constructions. And to tell you a story, the first time I traveled on an A380 I was around 17, heading to the United States, and I remember as if it were yesterday the moment that I boarded the aircraft, walking up these very long stairs from the tarmac, and the feeling I had, how amazed I was about the size of the aircraft and the idea that this giant whale will take off and fly for hours. So finally I think this element all together, well, I definitely aimed to become an aerospace engineer. That was clear.
I love stories like that. It's amazing how one passionate teacher can totally shift your whole path, and what a cool mix: physics, engineering, and real-world impact. So, what came next? How did that journey eventually shape your science path and lead to your involvement in the CONCERTO project?
Later on, when I was finishing my master's degree, there was already a strong research activity on aircraft electrification and clear industry directions towards this more electric aircraft and decarbonization, which played a key role in my path to CONCERTO. At that time, I took the opportunity to dive into this area for my master's thesis, joining a team in the university that was involved in some European projects, and I developed a work on regulation and certification of novel aircraft architecture, including hybrid electric powertrain and hydrogen power sources, which I really enjoyed. And in fact, I think this triggered my ambition to pioneer the future of decarbonization. So this is how I found this perfect fit in clean aviation and more particularly in CONCERTO, combining this certification, decarbonization, disruptive technologies, all these ingredients that made a perfect fit for me to take this challenging adventure.
Very, very interesting. So, earlier you said you are all about making a real impact, and I'm curious, how did Concerto help you turn that into something real?
If I need to do it short, that by the way is not easy at all, I would say that my role in Concerto is to connect the necessary activities and people in order to work all together toward the same goal, the goal of influencing and preparing the regulatory elements to allow disruptive technologies to be certified. And in particular, leading the hydrogen stream in Concerto has given me the opportunity to meet great professionals in the field, full of energy, have a good visibility of the hydrogen ecosystem, the initiatives around the world, and being able to identify synergies and facilitate the connections between them.
Absolutely touching. And before we wrap up, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a really pleasure having you on the show. Do you have any final words you would like to share with our audience?
To wrap up, I just wanted to highlight the really positive impact of clean aviation in connected companies, research institutions to foster collaboration throughout the entire aviation ecosystem. This kind of interaction is really crucial for enabling the development of innovative technologies and moving towards a real decarbonized aviation sector. And this is all of my side. Thank you so much, Nikki, for including me in this episode. It was a pleasure to be with you today, and I hope our listener enjoyed it too. See you soon.
And that was it, our very first episode from Lab to Life. A huge thanks again to Beatriz for kicking off this journey with such insight and inspiration. If you enjoyed this, stay tuned. There is much more to come. Until next time, take care, keep exploring, and don't forget, in science and in life, learning never ends.